What's up, everyone? Ejay Cruz Parables Podcast. Another one. You guys know how I do. All gas, no brakes. And I have two legends who are here on technically a Saturday morning. I appreciate you guys. I have Bryan Pham and Maggie Chui, all the way from technically NorCal, where you guys came from, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, that's right.
Come on the podcast. I appreciate you guys for coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us. I'm so happy to be here.
Dude, it's amazing because, guys, if you guys don't, we're going to dive into who they are and what they're doing, but they are down here for an event that we will all be attending tomorrow in the next city over, which is in Ontario here in Southern California. I gotta admit, when they announced the city, I was like, oh, hell yeah. It's just like literally like 10,
so
15 minutes away.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm definitely coming. But anyway, so guys, Maggie and Bryan, they are the founders of Asian Hustle Network. And, it's an incredible community of 20,000 members now on Facebook.
We almost have 29,000.
We hit 28,000 yesterday.
Yeah,
we're almost
about
at
1,000 every 2 days now.
Yeah, and I got to tell you guys, if you guys don't know this about me, I am all about networking. I'm all about community. And when I was invited to this group, I was just straight up blown away. I was blown away by the magnitude of the engagement. The amount of people, the type of people that were in there, all the introductions, all walks of life, and it's so crazy. I think a lot of people really overlook the whole community and the whole group aspect of business, and let alone just people in general. And I have to say I'm truly honored to be a part of the group. And I kind of want to dive into, obviously, how that group came about. But because we have two people here, I kind of want, we definitely want to get to know both of you. And then we'll jump into AHN. So let's start off with you, Bryan. Kind of give us your background about where you're from, kind of what you do today, and then we'll go to Maggie after that.
Definitely. So I grew up in LA. I'm from San Gabriel, Temple City area. So LA for life, I have a lot of LA pride. And when I went to school, I studied computer science. And I did that for about 5 years until I realized that, hey, there's so much more to life that I can do. Around that time, I actually broke up with my ex-girlfriend. I needed to change the scenery. So I decided to move up to the Bay Area, And as soon as I moved up to the Bay Area, I got into real estate completely by accident. Mainly because my roommate at the time was starting to get into real estate himself. And he's like, hey, bro, you want to get into real estate with me? And I said, I kind of hate my job. Okay, let's do it,
What was your job at the time?
I was working at IBM as a software engineer.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so around that time, IBM wasn't doing that well. So there was a lot of layoffs in the company that really affected how I saw money. And I realized that there's absolutely no loyalty out there, You work your ass off for this company for 10, 15, 20 years. And when the company doesn't do well, they lay you off. And I saw that happen with my mentors. And that really resonated with me. I was like, man, I really need a side hustle. I need to do something else to make sure that I could secure my own financial future, And I started looking into different hustles. I looked into the 401k and I realized the 401k is super flawed. There's no way this thing's gonna support me in my older years, So I needed a sustainable side hustle. So I started out selling stuff on Amazon actually.
Nice.
And I didn't do that well. I was like, oh man, this is so much work. How does anyone do this?
That's the same thing with me. I used to sell on eBay. Actually, I still do here and there.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of work. A lot of people don't know it. It does require a lot of work, a lot of research.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It does take a lot of time. But it's the same way. Yeah, it does take up a lot of time.
Yeah.
But so you realize with your colleagues and your peers that they were getting laid off.
Yeah.
You identified okay, crap, I need a backup plan.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got into real estate. It really appealed to me, passive income, getting rental properties and just getting appreciation after a couple of years. It really appealed to me. So I really dove deep into it. I went out to any single meetup I can find online. I went out to everything. I met at least 20, 30, 40 people every week for 2 years, until I got my first deal in LA.
Wow.
Sweet LA, right? So I got my first deal in LA. I met this guy online actually. I only met him for 2 days, and I was so desperate to get a deal because during that time, there wasn't that many people that were willing to help me get started, and that kind of resonated with me as well. I was like, wow, there's no community yet that would actually help me get started. So that kind of planted the seeds for Asian Hustle Network, because I want to build that community. So I found this guy online. I worked with him on a flip project in LA, and lo and behold, we made 200,000 in like 4 months.
Dang.
So I was like, whoa, I'm in real estate now. This is awesome, you know?
Yeah, yeah. You got like you got your feet wet basically.
Yeah.
You got the taste of it.
Got a taste of it. Started flipping houses with my team in the Bay Area. Shout out to Tom Tran of Stronger Moms Properties. Took me under his wing. We started doing a bunch of projects together. And from there, I got my rental properties in LA. So I have 8 units in Pasadena and 8 units in Columbus. I have 16 rentals. And around that time, about 2 years ago, I left my corporate job and started doing real estate full time. And this is when I started thinking about like giving back to the community.
Yeah.
You know, because I want people to like understand the power of passive income and, you know, how to achieve it, because anyone else could achieve it. It's just not about money. It's about knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, and putting yourself in the right situation to learn.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I did that, I was like, okay, I started my real estate community up in the Bay Area, which I grew to about over 1,000 members in 1 year. And I was thinking to myself, if I can bring together people of different ages and different backgrounds to work together, and like no shady activity here, like very genuinely want to help each other uplift themselves.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring that to the Asian community as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I was talking to Maggie around April of last year. I was like, hey, I want to do this community to help other people, but I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know what.
Yeah.
You know, and it wasn't until like we went to Japan around April that when we stopped by the Meiji Shrine in Japan in Tokyo, we were reading tablets on a wall of people writing their stories around the world. And Maggie and I were there for about 2-3 hours reading everyone's story. We're like, wow, this is awesome.
You guys
man.
have a picture of that on social media.
We do.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
that's
do.
that
Yeah,
picture.
yeah.
See,
Yeah.
See? Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
do my due diligence.
This guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so that really resonated with us. We kept a note of that on our phone. You know, it wasn't until we got back to the United States around May that I got invited to this group called Subtle Asian Traits.
Okay.
And I was like, wait, Facebook has Facebook groups? What the hell?
Yeah.
You know, and this group's
Yeah.
blowing up fast at the time too. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. But it was all memes. Like, it wasn't anything that we want to shape our vision to.
Gotcha.
But still, we didn't really think about creating Asian Hustle Network yet. It wasn't until we went to a conference around October 2019 in Berkeley that we're like, wow, like Asians are very underrepresented in media, corporate ladders, and investment ladders. Like we went to this event and everyone who was top tier was not Asian, you know, and we saw like we needed to make a change. But still, starting a group was fearful because we knew that everyone else will look at our history and who we are, and you know, I have people who like my pictures from 2-3 years ago now. I'm like, wow, man, you guys are digging deep, man.
They're really looking at who you are, right?
Exactly.
Sure, yeah.
So,
You know, there's a couple things I want to point out real quick, and sorry to interrupt, but like, you know, it's just crazy now because Facebook groups has been there for a long time.
Yeah.
Right,
If
right.
you actually look on TV now, they're advertising
They
like,
are.
oh, Facebook groups.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of
You know what I
commercials
mean?
on it.
Yeah, and it's exactly what you said too, because I've been a part of so many Facebook groups, right? And there's the ones that are actually inspiring, the ones that are actually provide value.
Right.
But then there's the ones like, okay, it's just like a place where people could feel like not alone, people could feel involved, but then it's all BS.
Yeah.
Right? Let's
Yeah.
be honest, like memes, it's talking shit, it's
Exactly.
gossip and all that stuff. So you know, there was a little fear factor with that, right? How do I start this, but how do I make it different? I mean, you had that experience, you know, doing creating you know, your real estate communities from up top. So how did you kind of approach it?
how did I approach the Asian Hustle Network one?
Yeah.
I had to make sure that I established big goals at the very beginning.
Okay.
So I was reading this book called Get to 1 Million Followers in 1 Month that really shaped my mentality. He was like, you know what? You have to start with a big, audacious goal at the very beginning, no matter how crazy it sounds. So at the time, I had around like 600 members. And I said to the group, hey, we're going to get to 1 million, guys. You know? And then I was really iffy about that too, because I was looking at Maggie. I'm like, man, they're going to think I'm crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But by setting the big goal at the very beginning, your subconscious mind kicks in.
Yes.
You know, you want to achieve that goal.
Right.
Because our mission statement was to uplift entrepreneurs around the world. Like we wanted to bring a lot of values that I learned from my real estate meetups to the group. You know, be authentic, be open, be sharing, create the abundance mindset, lose the scarcity mindset, you know?
Yeah.
And when we did that, it started scaling really quickly, you know, the subconscious thing about it.
Yeah.
And to get the whole story started, like personally, I had to post my own personal story to get the format started.
Yeah.
That's pretty nerve-wracking, you know? Because when I wrote that post, I was like, man, so many people are going to read this. Am I comfortable with doing this?
Yeah. You're now digging into vulnerability.
Exactly.
Yep.
But then my core value and mission was so strong. I just wanted to uplift everyone that I just kind of did it.
Yeah.
You know, like I was trembling like 10, 15 minutes after I posted it. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I posted my life story, you know?
Yeah.
And it's also like we have nothing to hide as well. So even if we're putting ourselves at the forefront, it's like we don't have anything to hide. We have like everything to show to our community, and they follow your footsteps. You know, if you're just true to the community and you show your true self, then they can see that, and they see that you're being genuine. They see that you're being true, and they can appreciate that. You know, and that's what makes them be a part of this community. That's what makes them be like, oh, I want to be a part of this because I can see that Bryan is being his true self. I can see that Maggie is being her true self, and all these other members are just sharing their stories being true. You know, there's a lot of genuine personalities in this group.
I was just gonna say, you guys being the founders, you guys had to lead by example.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And what I've noticed too, and like I said, I was blown away when I started to see these introductions, and it seemed like it started to create this ripple effect, like introduction after intro after intro after intro, right? But again, just blown away by the amount of like, it's one thing to introduce yourself, like, oh, hey, my name is Ejay Cruz, I do this podcast, and that's it, I'm from Southern California.
Right.
And then there's another thing like, hey, you know, this is who I am, this is where I'm from, this is where, you know, some of the things that I struggled with, this is how I got here, this is still what I'm trying to do. It's a whole different like world once you start to really dive into that vulnerability.
Right.
And it's incredible. I mean, I gotta tell you, I'm just, again, and I want to point this out before we jump into you, Maggie, kind of your background, is when I got invited, I think I was invited by Bryan Wynn. Shout out to Bryan Wynn from episode 2, by the way, of Being Nutritious. He invited me, and I'm not gonna lie, just being transparent. I just thought to myself, I looked at the name and I was thinking, so okay, this might be just one of those like, you know, one of those groups again.
We get that a lot.
Yeah. And you know what? You know, that's just human nature to identify, and you kind of like see these words, right? And you know, I looked at it and I was like, okay, let me just see what it's about. And then again, once I got in there, I was like, holy crap, this is serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, I think that only speaks to, again, about just trying to be a little open-minded, because I'm at a place right now, and I'm sure you guys could agree, is that I'm in a place right now where I feel that God leads me towards a certain path. And I've come to find out, when I reflect back in my life, I see these certain events in my life that lead me to where I am today. And that's not even just events, that's just exposure, opportunities, or even just little conversations. And this is why I love podcasting so much, right? So, I mean, again, incredible what you guys have done, because again, I see here that you guys, the group has been featured in LA Times, it's been on TV and multiple news outlets, right? I mean, how did that all blow up? Is that all the works of Calvin, which by the way is Calvin on Honeywell, or how did that all work out?
So we have people in Asian Hustle Network in these news outlets that are part of our network that see everything. And they reached out to us and be, hey, I'm actually a writer at LA Times. Could I feature an article on yourself? Yeah. But for the international news, we were completely not aware of that. Yeah. They didn't ask us for permission. They just kind of posted it.
Also, internationals got in on it.
It was like a Vietnamese news channel. And I think one of our members in AHN shared the video to us, and we were like, we were just surprised because we didn't know that they didn't reach out to us and ask us, but we were fine with it, you know?
We're fine with the
well, how did it come out? Did it come out okay?
Yeah, it came out really well, you know, but still it caught us a surprise. Like, hey, one of the members like messaged me, hey, congratulations, Bryan.
Yeah.
Would it be featured in the Vietnam news? I was like, wait, what?
It's like a surprise. Like you wake up and then you look at all these notifications or something. What the heck?
Exactly. And I didn't understand it because they were speaking Vietnamese, so I had to ask Bryan to translate it to me.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So Maggie, let's get to know you a little bit, kind of your background, and then we'll go from there also.
Yeah, okay. So I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area. I was born and raised in San Francisco. I still live in the Bay Area now, but I live in Oakland. And so I come from a finance background. So I was working in finance in a different couple companies. So I was in government. And then now I'm in tech. I still have my 9 to 5 job. A couple years ago, I started this staging company because I was really into interior design, and that was between me and Bryan. So we purchased a bunch of furniture with our mentor Tom Tran of Stronger Moms Properties, and we stored all our furniture in one of his rental properties in Santa Clara. And so any listings that we would get, we would stage the properties. So, you know, we were working side by side. He was in real estate, I was in staging.
So friends but still like as colleagues at the time?
No, we
No,
were
we're
together.
dating.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, we were together. And so we were trying to, figure out ways where we can really maximize our efforts in real estate. And so I was in staging. It was just us two. Like we would buy all the furniture. We would go out to living spaces, Wayfair, everywhere, buy the furniture, and then we would move all the furniture, just us two, by
It was
ourselves.
90% me.
Like when you're moving furniture between two people, communication just goes out the window. And I'm like so much shorter than he is. So when he's like, go left, I go right. And it's just a total mess.
She crushed on my fingers, by the way.
So in essence, really, he's doing all the moving and I'm just directing him like where to put stuff. So we did that for a while, but it failed. So
It
we...
didn't fail.
Well-
It just took up too much time.
Yeah, it was too time consuming, and it just didn't work out for like our schedule and like what we were trying to do long term, and it was just too straining, like even on my body and stuff like that. So we put that on hold, especially because the market was softening up as well. We weren't really doing as many staging jobs anymore. So aside from that, now I am. I got into fitness a couple years back, and I just fell in love with fitness because before, like I felt like I didn't have a strong like self-confidence, and I just wasn't happy with my outlook on life and everything like that. But once I got into fitness, it was just like everything completely changed. Like I got into powerlifting, and it was my outlet to express myself and just way to like disconnect with the world. And ever since I got into fitness, I felt like my self-confidence has really boosted, and it's like that was the only thing that made me realize that, I had self-confidence within myself, and that was the only way that I could express myself was through fitness and was through powerlifting. So right now I'm in the process of launching my own fitness apparel line, which is Prism Fitwear, and that is to be planned to be launched this year.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah,
pretty exciting.
and I know you're really into fitness as well, because I see your stories all the time, and you're like always at the gym, so.
Oh man, you know what? I just fitness. Obviously, I identify with it being my nursing background. I used to be heavily overweight, and as you guys know, I'm sure that with fitness, even when it comes to business, you have to be a business athlete, and you know how your body translates to the mind and how your mind operates. So
Right, exactly.
dude, that's super exciting. Obviously, I would imagine. I was just gonna say, I know a lot of people that I'm sure could be very resourceful to you. But being that we're in this incredible group already, I'm sure you have all the resources that you can. So, in regards to you guys, when you guys came together again, you kind of mentioned it, Brian. You identified that the Asian community was definitely underlooked or undervalued to a sense. Why do you both think that?
I don't know, just following politics in general, I realized that, Asians get shunned in media all the time. Following Andrew Yang, I realized that, his speaking time is significantly less than all the other candidates.
Yeah.
Look at how we are portrayed in Hollywood and everything else, and just in general, I'm like, oh wow, like we're not represented at all, and it's really discouraging to see that.
Yeah.
And I just want to make a difference, I just want to make sure that we do have a voice. We are a separate generation from our parents.
Yeah.
And that it's our time right now to rise up and own our heritage and own how people treat us.
Yeah.
We're not passive anymore. Like we want what we want, and we're gonna get there.
And also, like a lot of people talk about the bamboo ceiling, right? Like in corporate ladders and investment ladders. It's also the way we grew up. Like as Asians, a lot of us, we were culturally and conditionally ingrained to believe that, we should keep to ourselves. Or like our parents always taught us to not speak up or like not to use our voice, right?
So true. I'm glad you brought that. Be reserved.
Exactly.
Right? Kind of just sit back and kind of just,
Yeah, because our parents, it's like a lot of our parents, especially in Asian households, they always taught us to like save face, right?
Yeah.
Like if there's something that you want to, bring up to your supervisor, you just stay quiet, right? And that's the mentality that we want to break, because we're not living in those times anymore. A lot of our parents came from times of war, where they are not open to helping each other out, where they feel like they should just stick with their own kind of people. So Brian always says, like a lot of in the Asian community, a lot of Vietnamese people stick with the Vietnamese people, Chinese stick with the Chinese, Koreans stick with the Koreans.
It's so true. It's so
right.
true.
And so we talk about that all the time, and it's like, we're living in a new generation now. We're living in a new era, and it's like, why don't we combine forces, and why don't we come together so that we can help each other out? Because if we come together, we are so much stronger as a community, instead of just fighting everyone apart and like fighting against each other.
And that's part of the reason why we want to create this community too.
Yeah.
We want people to share their story, to be like, hey, we're different Asians, but the same upbringing, same values. We're starting to read that. We're starting to see that. I want people to see that we're just together. There's no separation.
Yeah.
We're in this together to win.
Was it like that for you Bryan, being in LA, and you being in from the Bay? I know it was here in the IE that we would attach to one another in regards to our ethnicity, even not just being Asian, but like Filipinos would like kind of be Filipinos,
right.
We were Chinese.
Yeah.
Was it like that growing up in LA or like in the Bay for you, Maggie?
Go ahead.
It was definitely like that. I felt like it was like that. I felt like most of my friends were Chinese, and there were very few. I felt like there were very few Koreans. There were very few Filipinos, and maybe it was because of like where I went to school, right? Or like who I was hanging out with, and I felt like all of us just stuck together just because we were Chinese, and it's also, how our parents taught us while we were growing up, just like stick with who you're close to or stick with who you're comfortable with. It's like, it doesn't make sense for us to do that anymore, because as Asians, we all speak the same language, like just like hypothetically, we're all the same people. So it's like, why not come together and why not work together and support each other? And that's the only way we can grow, because if we're just fighting off each other all the time, it's like, there's always that scarcity mindset. We're always going to be like, there's not enough for everyone, and I just want to take my piece of the pie and not give anyone to anyone else. So in that essence, it's like we should definitely like find ways to like come together. This is why we came up with this platform where we can all come together and celebrate each other's successes. And it's like, it's okay to we do have to have that abundance mindset where there is enough for everyone. There's enough to go around for everyone.
Everyone could eat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a little bit different. I grew up in San Gabriel, where my parents kept me away from Westminster, per se. So I didn't grow up around Vietnamese people. I actually grew up a lot around like Chinese, Korean, and Filipino people. That when I moved out to the Bay, all of a sudden, like, people were segregated. I was like, what the hell is going on, I grew up in LA where, like, my closest friends are, like, different Asian backgrounds. I never saw a problem with segregation until I moved to the Bay Area. Suddenly, the Vietnamese crew started reaching out to me, and they'd be like, hey, man, you're one of us. I was like, what the hell? I'm just friends with people. What's going on here?
I was just going to say, because LA is definitely multicultural. Just kind of like how it is here in the Empire. It's like, everyone kind of hangs around it. Like, everyone, I guess you could say. But there were still times where, if you identified with someone, then you would automatically kind of gravitate toward them.
Right.
But you're saying that when you moved to the Bay at a temporary time, that you did notice that.
I did notice that. I mean, the good thing about my parents is like they always encouraged us to learn from other cultures. They encouraged us to eat from like other cultures' food, learn everything about it. So when I moved up to the Bay, honestly, that made me very uncomfortable. Like seeing all the segregation going on. And also, same thing, planted seeds for Asian Hustle Network. I was like, hey, we all have a lot of similarities together. We just have to share each other's story and listen to each other's story. Because I always think to myself that if everyone in the world can speak the same language, there would be no wars. Because we all understand each other. The reason why we don't like someone else because they speak differently from us or act differently from us. We take a step back and have some empathy and learn about their culture. Like, we realize we're all human. We all want the same things. Want to help each other.
What do you think is, we're obviously talking about, we spoke about vulnerability. We talked about obviously how amazing this community that we've built. But what are some of the struggles that you think that you guys are facing in regards to trying to really take this group to the next level? And, in general too, just building a community, a very strong, founded, very engaging community. What are some of the struggles that you guys are enduring now, and probably some that you think you'll probably face?
Yeah. So one thing about starting a community, I realized that the community is very reflective of our own personality. It's crazy how it is. It just depends on our own personal maturity. Like, how do you handle situations well? What kind of person are you? Are you a person that hides everything under the rug? Are you transparent? And you figure those part out. Like, running a group is just this extension of your own personality. How would you do things personally? And you try to teach that and show that to as many people as possible. But reading through, oh man, like I don't even know, at least like 200, 300,000 posts. I read through everyone's posts, and I realized one thing is that there's a huge mindset problem going on.
Yeah.
You know, there's a huge scarcity mindset going on. Just some of the posts that I tried trial and error with is like, hey, like if you had $1,000, what kind of ideas would you post? Or I saw someone else post something like that.
Yeah.
And some of the comments were like, why would I share my idea?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
that person might steal my idea, but that's not true at all. You know,
Yeah.
it goes back to the scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
I think with the abundance mindset, it's like, yeah, I can share my idea. I can tell you everything you need to know to start this community. But one thing you realize that there's never like one way, or like there's never the same way to do the same thing.
Right.
You know, everyone has a different point of view, a different flavor to add to it, so it's okay to share the information. But in terms of scaling the community, it's just about getting our word out there. You know, because once people overcome our Asian hustle network, there's always a bad connotation with the word hustle.
Yeah.
And we're trying to make it a positive thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that once that converts itself to something more positive, we're gonna be able to explosively grow the group.
I think that also is in relation to kind of what you said, how it magnifies, because it's kind of like also with money. Right? The more money one gets, it only magnifies the type of person they are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But you know, how do we tackle that mindset? Because you know, obviously, as a group grows, as a community grows, you'll be getting a lot of different personalities, people coming from different places, all different upbringings. How do we tackle that to where we promote that open platform? Be like,
Definitely.
hey, you know, there's a lot of different people here. Yeah, you know, we will have discussions. Yeah, we won't always agree. But you know, I guess you could say like, how do you keep it still engaging but also still peaceful? Because there's always what I've seen in groups as well is always like once like these two big personalities or two different groups start to come and start butting heads. That kind of almost like it's like the spiral, the downward of a group. How do we like kind of tackle?
We always encourage debates in the group to be very positive. In
Healthy
a way.
debates.
Healthy debates.
Yes.
I mean, we're trying to make sure that no tempers flares. That it's a lot of maturity and compromise going on.
Yeah.
You know, that's the best way to learn, right? It's like you have to understand that no one knows everything. It's okay to be disagreed upon as long as it's done in a very constructive manner. We can definitely learn from everyone and just you're right, you know, win or lose. But you know, there has been situations where tempers has flared.
Yeah,
a lot of F-bombs. I was like, whoa, what's going on, guys?
And it's like with 28,000 members and most of them being entrepreneurs, there's bound to be a lot of strong personalities. You know, there are people who are very, very affirmative in their beliefs, you know, what they believe in. And that's fine, you know, and we do welcome healthy debates, and we're always welcoming people who are willing to like offer their opinions on something. But we always say, you know, our mission of AHN is to always empower people and make sure that everyone is supportive of each other. And we want to make sure that everyone is aligned with that mission as well.
And that's our strength in numbers too, since like we have a strong positive culture. You know, the existing members are extremely important to us because they establish the baseline for new members to come in.
Yeah.
And what happens over time, weeks after weeks, hundreds of posts per day, reading all positive comments, it's going to affect people's mentality.
Right.
You know, subconsciously too, because we hear from our friends all the time, and we flood their newsfeed all the time. You know, we flood everyone's newsfeed. So that's also strength in numbers, right? Because like you're going to read these positive stories every single day, whether you like it or not, until you meet our group. It's going to affect your mindset one way or another. Like it's going to affect you and how you treat people and how you think about things. And that's the kind of goal that we're going towards. It's the mindset shift without the person knowing that it's shifting. It's crazy.
Right. And it has a powerful effect, right? Like there are people who are trying to be aspiring entrepreneurs who haven't really gotten started yet, and just they've been saying like, oh, I read AHN as my daily newspaper, which is really surprising to me because it's like I never thought that.
Feel amazing.
That does feel amazing.
Awesome.
I never thought that we would become like a daily routine in someone's life, you know? And so just hearing that, and these aspiring entrepreneurs, they're probably a lot of them, you know, it's very easy to get in a rut when you're just starting out. And just by reading all of these inspiring stories and like, you know, people are being so open with the struggles that they went through, the challenges, the hardships that they face and how they overcame it. It inspires them to make them believe like, oh, I can do it too. You know, like it's okay to fail, but at least like I need to learn from my failures, and it's okay to, you know, make mistakes, but if someone else can do it, I can do it too, you know? And that's the most important thing, because all these aspiring entrepreneurs, they have something to look up to. They have someone to look up to so that they can go out there and achieve their own dreams and goals.
Yeah, I definitely recognize that there's all walks of life there.
Right.
You know, for sure. And I love how you guys kind of reinstill your core values and the culture, because what it ultimately does is it's just going to empower these people, especially like the up and coming, or maybe even like the reserved ones, like you said, like you know, the ones who don't speak up yet, who don't feel. Because I, you know, coming from multiple networks myself, there's a lot of people who I know who don't even engage because they feel they got nothing to offer. When in reality, that's not the case. Everyone has something to offer. Everyone has a unique story. Everyone has. If they're willing to share and they're able to gain that courage and confidence, they can inspire someone that they don't even know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's amazing. You know, I want to get a little off topic here. I want to discuss you two in regards to how you guys are able to manage. You know, you guys are two entrepreneurs and able to manage. You know, running your guys' businesses. How has that been?
It's been hell. Not gonna lie about that.
No sleep.
We're team no sleep right now.
No
you know?
sleep.
You look closely, you have bags under your eyes, you know?
I have concealer all over my face. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but it's
And, you know, I bring this up. It's not just to really get juicy. It's the truth is that people always, like, when we talk relationships, people automatically think like, oh, it's a spouse, it's a girlfriend, it's a boyfriend. When in reality, a relationship could mean so many different things.
Right.
When I think of relationships, I could even think of a business partner.
Right.
And you guys have a unique situation because you guys are, boyfriend, girlfriend. You guys are together, but then you guys are also, have a business together. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I bring it up.
Right.
But, how have you guys been able to manage that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not hell then. I thought you mean hell with my side hustle and this.
Are you sure?
Oops, confused.
It's like after hours.
It's been great because dating Maggie, she understands my personality really well, my strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
For me, it's like personally, I move at 100 miles per hour. I think of something, I execute.
I see that in you, dude. I see that because I'm kind of the same way. I'm just like, I think of something and my mind is already like, I don't know, like 2 generations away. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm weird like that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we can identify with each other with that.
Definitely. And Maggie's more like my speed bump, like, you gotta check what you're doing,
I don't know if that's a good way to...
So we compromise, we complement each other's strengths and weaknesses. Maggie's really detail oriented. And it comes down to things where we need to be thought out more, like, our trademarking or, our business plans or our logo or design. Maggie's great at that stuff. Yeah. I'm not. I'm very impatient. I'll probably accept the first logo I see from my designer. I'm like, that's good enough. Let's go. You know? For my strengths, like, I'm good at executing really, really quickly. Like, I have no mental blockage. I think I have enough resources in my mind to, like, okay, who do I need to talk to get this done, Yeah. And that's, for Maggie's strengths, is that for Maggie's weakness is that she has a little bit of trouble getting over herself to get started. But with me, it's like, okay, don't worry, baby. We can do it. I'll push forward, check my work. Push forward, check my work. That's kind of our relationship, and it works out really well. Especially in kind of social situations, too, where she knows since I go 100 miles per hour, I try to meet as many people as I can, because I feel like if they came out to talk to me, I should get the respect to talk to them. But after, like, the 30th person, I'm so mentally tired, having Maggie there, and she sees it in me. She's like, oh, you're slowing down. She hops into conversations where she knew what I was going to say, but I was too tired to say it.
So she picks you up.
Exactly.
We pretty much finish each other's sentences now.
Yeah, and then we have this thing, we've been dating long enough, when we look each other in the eyes, we have a full conversation what's going on.
It wasn't like that all the time, though. Like, when our first couple of months dating, we had no communication, but it just takes time.
Yeah.
You guys gotta learn about each other.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
When I need something, in a super crowded area, everyone's talking to me, I look over at Maggie, and she knows exactly what I'm thinking. She goes, does it, and she comes back.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's like the bat signal.
Yeah. The same thing with me too. If she needs me to do something, she looks at me and like, okay, I'll go do it, and I'll come back. And like very stressful, high social situations where we need to get things done, yet still talk to everyone around us. This is a great way to communicate, because we know each other so well.
Yeah. I would say it's been great too. Ever since we started, like a lot of people have this misconception or their own opinion about like relationships and couples being business partners, and there's like a bad connotation to
Yeah,
it, and
that's
like
just
you get
huge,
into
yeah.
fights all the time, or like you go to work with your significant other, you go home with your significant other, and you just get tired of them. But I mean, Brian and I are pretty much like magnets now, and so we've built a really good communication. And you know, ever since I dated Brian, he's always been, you know, like 100% motivated, and like he's super inspirational. And you know, I look up to him, and you know, I see that he's always like super fast in the way he's doing things, and those are the type of things that, you know, I aspire to be like, and I really look up to him for those type of things. Anytime, like for example, if I'm in analysis paralysis, like Brian's always there. He's really good at making sure like he keeps me in check and makes sure that, you know, he inspires me, and he's like, you can do it, and you know, don't let anything hold you back. So those are the type of things that I'm like really grateful for Brian for.
Yeah, I mean, we have this thing where, you know, we whiteboard our goals on the wall. You
Yeah.
know, things that we want to accomplish, and we change that every month because our goals are always constantly changing. It
Yeah,
gets
it's
bigger.
always evolving, it's maturing.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And then together, like, we write every single morning about what we're grateful for. Like, what are we grateful for that day, that week? What happened to us? Like, celebrate all the little wins that we have, you know? Because we're trying to gain momentum. We're trying to gain compound, the way to compound everything together, that we can just continue pushing forward. And just by writing out in our journal, like, we found a lot of similarities that we want to accomplish together. And when we found that common line, like starting Asian Hustle Network and doing the things that we do to make sure that we can give back as much to the community, it feels like it's natural to us and that we should do it. It's the right thing to do, you know?
It sounds like you guys identified like your strengths and weaknesses, and then from there you guys complement each other from there.
Exactly.
Like, you know where one is starting to, you know, weakness starts to shine. That's where you go there and infiltrate and like, okay, this is where I gotta pick them up.
Right.
That's awesome.
It's not an easy conversation to have too. No one likes talking about their weaknesses.
No.
Yeah.
Like, no one does, including couples.
Yeah.
But as soon as you got over that, because our goal is so much bigger in ourselves, that we're just, you know what, let's just talk about it, because we need to complement each other and get to the next level together.
And we need to move forward. Yeah. Because if we're just focusing on each other's strengths and we're not, you know, making sure we know what each other's weaknesses are, we're never going to move forward, and we're never going to do great things together. Yeah.
So, you know, when it came to Asian Hustle Network, right, I was curious, and maybe you may have touched on it earlier, but how did like the real general idea come about? Because you guys had this idea, you recognized there was like a problem, segregation and all that stuff. I mean, did it come off like a dinner over wine? Like, were you guys like, I don't know, like what were you guys doing? Like, I'm very curious, because some of the craziest concepts just come out of the most craziest like time of day or like these events, right? Do you guys remember what you guys were doing?
I remember.
Yeah, definitely.
I posted inside this other group, and they rejected my post. And out of spite, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna create a better group.
Oh, so
So it's out of spite.
You're in a different community. You posted something.
I posted about uplifting Asian entrepreneurs, and they denied my post. I'm like, you guys are tripping.
Wow.
I'm gonna create my own group.
It kind of goes back to like one of those things where like if you have a burning desire and you know what you want, you'll get there. You know,
like, you're not gonna let anything stop you because you think the idea is so right.
Yeah.
You know, and that's exactly what happened. Like, I was sitting by my computer, Maggie's washing the dishes. I was like, hey baby, come over here. She's like, what? No, come over here right now. I'm gonna create this Facebook group called Asian something.
Yeah.
I don't know what the second word is.
Yeah.
I said, what about the word hustle? And Maggie's like, I don't like the word hustle.
Well, okay, so let's go back. I only said that because, you know, there's like this misconception of the word hustle, right?
Yeah.
But now it's like, of course it grew on me ever since we started this group. And everyone became like very attached to the word hustle, and I think
It's been growing in society.
It
like,
has. I mean, it's everywhere, you know? And exactly like what Brian said earlier, we're trying to change the meaning of the word hustle, right? And make it into a good definition rather than a bad definition. You know, and so that's why I said that. But now it's like really grown on me, and it's like a word that we really keep dear to our heart.
I like the word hustle a lot. You know, that's why I suggested it to Maggie.
Yeah.
You know, because I meet a lot of real estate people, and they always say, oh, what's your side hustle? What's your hustle? What's your side hustle? You know? And then for me, it's like, I really like the word hustle, but at the same time, I really wanted to create something for the Asian community where I knew the word Asian had to be in there somewhere. So we actually chose the word Asian hustle, and we looked online to see if any other group had it. we found this website that had all girls in bikinis.
So we're like, okay, we can't do that.
Right.
You're doing the basic, like almost like a trademark shop. You're doing your due diligence.
I was like, all right, we need one more word.
So I can't identify with this website.
So some of the tags you get is pretty funny still. Like people tag us on Instagram,
yeah.
and there'd be girls in bikinis. Like, oh man, it's the wrong Asian hustle. We're the Asian Hustle Network, dude.
Yeah, the wrong one. It's like, no affiliation. Dude, that's comedy. You know, so again, when I think of this group, and again, I like to have healthy discussions too, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of this group, I think, this is just my opinion, I think it's actually more than an Asian community. That's what I think,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's about bringing people together.
Exactly.
Right? There's a lot of things that, that is happening that people may not see.
Mm-hmm.
And, but from the outside perspective, someone might look at that group and just be like, they're only promoting more segregation. What's your response to that?
Obviously there's going to be a lot of people that think that way, but surprisingly, the people that reach out to me sometimes, I had this guy reach out to me and say, hey, can I leverage your group to start my group? I'm like, what's your group called?
See, that is awesome.
Yeah.
They're like,
that's why I brought this up.
Yeah.
I felt there's, again, it's more than just
Right.
The word Asian in that community,
Yeah.
right? That's crazy. So it inspired someone to start their own group.
Started Latino Hustle Network.
Yeah.
And in their page, they credit us
Yeah?
as the inspiration.
So
to
it wasn't
create-
like a troll or anything.
No.
like that.
No.
Wow,
They
that is
were
amazing.
inspired by our group, and it's like, to us, we are inspired just because they feel inspired.
Exactly.
It's like,
And
that's a great thing.
I know, and
The inspiration works full circle.
Exactly.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
amazing, man.
and anyone who wants to join a community, we never say no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, like, we welcome everyone.
It's open to Asians and non-Asians.
Yeah, it's just when you start something this big, you have to be a little bit more like centralized what your initial mission statement is. After it grows and matures, obviously you want everyone to come on board.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I love that. I want to put a huge emphasis on that right
Yeah.
now. This Asian Hustler Network, it is not just for the Asian community now. It's a help to bring light, right, of the Asian community, but you don't have to be of Asian descent.
Of course
Exactly.
not.
Exactly.
And I want to put a huge emphasis on that.
Right.
Because I will tell you, when I started promoting it, and I did start telling people, like, guys, this network I just got into is insane. And I had a couple friends like, hey, like, can I join? Like, I think I'm like 10% Chinese.
We've gotten that.
For real.
Yes,
I'm sure you've gotten that, right?
Yeah.
We've gotten that, yes.
Yeah.
And I just want to bounce back off that. We've had people reach out to us and they said, you should definitely take off the word Asian off of your name because, it could have a bad representation, and we don't see it that way. I mean, we open this community to Asians and non-Asians, but I think putting the word Asian in there, it kind of sets the tone in terms of like what we're trying to fight for.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we're, shutting out anyone who's not Asian. We're just trying to represent Asians, but also shed light on the fact that we're trying to bring the Asian community to get together, but also we're open to like having non-Asians join our group as well. And so we've had like a lot of people ask like, oh, I think I'm part Asian, can I join? And I'm
We get
like,
that a lot actually.
that's no problem. Like we are open to anyone and everyone who wants to join, it's like not only open to Asians.
Because our message is clear. Like we want to impact. We want more Asians in media, more Asian corporate ladders and investment ladders. And the best way to do that is to make the word Asian more mainstream.
Right.
Dude,
Like
awesome.
there's nothing segregated about that. We're just trying to make the word mainstream.
Right. And we want to be clear on like what we're fighting for, and what our mission is.
I mean, I think like I even had a buddy of mine even say like, hey, I think I'm 0.5%.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? But it's exactly what you said though. I mean, like, me growing up, I grew up with a very multicultural, a demographic, and just because I identify myself as Asian doesn't mean I identify myself within my community. You know what I mean? And it's more to that.
Yeah.
See, and I'm so glad we brought that up because again, you see the name and I and that's why I love the group because I already knew it was more than just the Asian community.
Right.
I identified that right away, especially with the stories I was reading and the inspiration how we're trying to be a voice to empower the other people there, and especially there's so much more people to speak up.
Right. Exactly.
It's crazy. So I mean, again, you might have touched on it a little bit. I mean, what's like the ultimate goal for AHN? I know we want to again put the name out there. You know, we want to get more mainstream. But what's really the goal? Because I feel like as a community, it does a lot more. There's more to it. It's much bigger than that.
Right.
I mean, our vision for Asian Hustle Network is definitely turning into like a media platform where we can showcase entrepreneurs around the world. So we're planning on kickstarting that pretty soon to highlight videos similar to CNN's Great Big Story.
Nice.
Other things we're working on. I'm actually working on this right now. I'm working on a fund. I'm gonna raise like a couple $1 million fund to reinvest back into our Asian community. Why? Because I think that we're so talented that we need the right resources for us to succeed,
Yeah.
And everything I'm doing right now is setting the stage for the next generation to succeed. We're building that foundation right now. When you look at our Asian history, like we don't have that kind of foundation yet.
Yeah.
When you look at other communities, like the Black community and like the Jewish community, they have systems and processes in place to kind of help each other succeed.
You're absolutely right.
And looking at us, like we have them, but they're segregated.
Yeah, it's like, and why?
Exactly.
Well, you're trying to break that barrier.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And getting a lot of inspiration from the Black and Jewish community. I'm like, wow, like we need to like do something ourselves. We need to make sure that when we're gone, our time is gone, that we set the foundation for our future generation, not to start where we started.
Yeah.
We want to have them start where we finish, so they can get to the next level.
Yeah.
And essentially we want to create an ecosystem inside our community as well, because we realize there's a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs out there that just need a little bit of a boost, like mentorship and a little money. So we started our $1,000 giveaway in our Asian Hustle community that we just started on February 1st.
We're on Patreon, right?
Patreon, yeah. So we're giving away $1,000 to an aspiring entrepreneur every single month. But we're a little bit disappointed because we only had 7 entries so far. We're giving away free money to help you start your business. So you guys should be more ecstatic about this.
All 7 entries in regards to winning that.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly.
And we take up to 25 entries per month, but we only had 7. Yeah.
But it's okay. It's going to be a process, right? Everything you do is going to be a process. When people see the value in it, they're going to start entering more. But this is the very beginning of what our vision is, creating an ecosystem. And for the people who are super accomplished, like obviously their mindset is to give back resources, money, mentorship. We want to make sure that we create an ecosystem that these people are able to help these younger folks get to where they're at.
Pay it forward.
Right? And that's kind of the vision of the group. Just create this ongoing ecosystem that we all help each other. At the same time, address everything that we said we were going to do at the very beginning since day one. Put Asians in more mainstream social media and corporate ladder. So we're doing that with our recap videos. Just highlight entrepreneurs. And we're putting the money where our mouth is. We're starting a fund.
Yeah.
We're going to raise all this money to give back to the businesses in our community that have started and want to get to the next level. So we're always thinking about how to help everyone at every stage of their entrepreneurial track get to the next level.
Yeah. And also, regarding the $1,000 giveaway, it seems like the group is kind of broken up into 3 separate groups, like the aspiring entrepreneurs, the entrepreneurs who are really active in the group, who are like posting to the group, and then the people who are doing really well, And the $1,000 giveaway is mostly to, inspire the aspiring entrepreneurs to get started in their business. We've also reached out to our members to, tell us what they would like to see more of the group. And all of them, it's great to connect with each other online, but all of them say, oh, I want more meetups, events, conferences. So we're really focusing on doing more meetups and events. We had one in DC the other week. We had one in New York City. We just had one in SF. We're going to have one in LA tomorrow. We're having one in San Diego, Melbourne, Boston,
Houston, Vegas, Seattle, Portland.
Yes, exactly. So
we're everywhere, y'all.
We're everywhere. We're on the map.
Yeah, but eventually our vision for that is we want to create a global conference every year.
So something similar to like 10X, right?
Yeah.
And for example, how Bryan was mentioning about, like the Jewish community and Black community, whenever there's like a community-based event, we always see like Asians are the lowest in attendance. Why? It always goes back to like Asians don't feel like they have a voice and they don't feel like they have the responsibility to attend these events. And we want to change that. Yeah.
So I think also what I love about the group, which by the way started, I just realized again, was founded November 8th of 2019. My goodness.
3 months.
3 months, and look
3
at how
months.
many members, we have already. Look at how, all the meetups that we just spoke about. But I also think what you guys may not realize it, but what I'm starting to see is that you guys are also not also giving a platform for everyone to come together, but also to empower other aspiring entrepreneurs. But you're also giving a platform for these other people who are maybe super successful and they don't even know or what approach to pay it forward. You know what I mean? And now there's this platform here. It's like, oh wow, like these are good people, like and this was me back then, and now I can pay it forward.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys coming on the parables. I mean, it's remarkable because I think a lot of people overlook the whole community aspect. If there's anything, and I'm sure you guys can agree with this, especially when it comes to not even just business, but just bringing people together. We're all brothers and sisters as human beings. Is to building those communities, because there's a lot of people who are lost out there who don't feel they identify with anyone else or a group, and it's sad because they have nowhere to attend to. They don't feel like they could be part of society. So you guys are definitely contributing to it, and I applaud you guys, and I'm honored to be a part of the group. I'm excited about the event tomorrow. Over here again in Ontario, good friends, a lot of past speakers who are past guests on the podcast will be there, including Honeybell Iris with Calvin and Andy Wynn. I'm very, very excited, and I know more events will be coming. So definitely, if you guys are interested in joining again, you do not have to be of Asian descent to be a part of the group. Again, I can't emphasize that anymore. On the show notes, I will leave. If you guys don't mind, a link to the Patreon to see if people do want to donate, so we can pay it forward to the entrepreneurs and the other people who are trying to get their feet up. But I appreciate you guys. We got Bryan Pham and Maggie Chui on the parables. I appreciate you guys so much. Do us a favor, if you guys are listening to this episode, let us know what you guys think. Tag us. Oh, by the way, where can people find you? The best way to contact you guys?
So you can find us at our Instagram. So that's instagram.com/Asian Hustle Network. And then our Facebook group. So facebook.com/groups/Asian Hustle Network. And then also our Patreon, obviously that's going to our aspiring entrepreneurs who would like to kickstart their business. And we're going to be coming out with lots of events and meetups. So we would hope that you could support us and consider becoming a patron. And that's patreon.com/Asian Hustle Network.
If you want to find us personally, it's Bryan Pham. It'll be in the show notes.
And then my Instagram is mag.chui. So it's magg.chui.
We also have a website too, asianhustlenetwork.org.
Yep.
So whatever industry do you need to find, we created a custom database where you can search up your industry or whatever industry you're looking for and find the person in that industry based off location.
Dude, you guys are on it for 3 months. I didn't even know we had a website.
Yeah, it just got released.
Yeah? Oh, okay, awesome. So within 3 months, that's crazy. Guys, everybody, I appreciate you guys tuning into the parables. Do me a favor. Again, if you guys are listening to this episode, tag us, let us know that you're listening. Take a screenshot and we will show you love back. If you guys could do me a favor, if you guys could leave a rating and write a review on iTunes, it helps with visibility with the parables. I appreciate you guys. So again, Maggie and Bryan of Asian Hustle Network, we're out of here. Thank you.